Welcome. Welcome. My name is Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my lovely co-host here. Hope you had a great weekend. Hi, ladies.
You've been in your hair.
Yeah. What's up, Nima? How was the wedding?
Okay.
Senior wife things.
Senior wife things. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
From Thursday night till now, I've not had a bit of sleep, at least for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it was good. We thank God it was a success. And to the newest Mrs. Zibiri,
Yeah.
ìyàwó ni mo ní o.
Ami o.
God bless your marriage, fruitfulness all the way. So, all the wedding attendees were your view fans. It was so crowded. Imagine me carrying food and somebody said, please selfie. And I was just thanking God. Moriah wanted to come. God, don't let Moriah. If they talk about Moriah on me, you don't understand. So I wanted to say a special shout out to somebody that came all the way from Ilorin. And she insisted, you better greet me on your show. That I don't go to work without watching your show. Her name is Zainab Umar Ibrahim. And she's also my co-wife from the other side.
Zainab.
Hi,
So,
Zainab.
Zainab, they all know you. She knows all your
things.
stories. She loves the banter. She talks everything. It was almost like she lives in our houses,
All
but
right.
you know, just from watching us.
Hi,
So it
Zainab.
was
How you
wonderful.
doing?
Zainab.
Jumoke, how was your weekend?
My weekend was
You
good.
had a birthday party.
Hey, and I was
Tomorrow
just
is Jumoke's
Happy birthday in
birthday.
advance. Tomorrow.
We are collecting cakes, chocolates. We like,
And a Bentley.
yeah.
So the birthday party started on Saturday morning. I was
Okay.
taken to Saturday brunch,
Okay.
which was really nice. I've been trying to diet too, but
Love no go green.
Pumping you fat.
well, I thank God for life, Sha. It's the end of my old life and the beginning of a new one tomorrow. So I'm very grateful to God. It was a
Fantastic.
restful weekend. We thank God.
Topsy.
Yeah, restful weekend too. I've been complaining about having tooth issues since last year, and I thought maybe it was I changed my toothpaste. I was still having that issue, and I thought maybe I had holes in my teeth. It was terrible. So I went for dental checkup, and guess what? I had no hole in my teeth. I had a gum infection. As in, like, I was just, you know, we most of the time we tend to be reluctant to have this thing properly checked up.
Self-medication.
And they did some corrected something, so they just did something like this cream and polish, and I've been feeling better. And I'm wondering, seriously, why didn't I just go to the dentist since? The guy that said you're supposed to have your tooth checked up every 6 months. That's twice every year. And I'm like,
Now I'm going to check mine because I've never heard of tooth infection.
I
Gum,
got
infection.
gum.
Sorry.
I had mine checked last year. I got it polished. So it's a good day. I had a good time with that.
How was your weekend, Mariah?
My weekend was nice. Did a lot of cooking and pretty much at home. I wanted to be at the wedding, but
Thank
know,
God you didn't go.
one of those things that you have with Oga and you just you're not going anywhere.
Oga
just I know no consent, and I'm wondering really.
I like that.
Yeah, so unfortunately,
Mr. Bro.
story. I really wanted to go. I had my clothes out and everything, but there was a lot of drama. So, what are you gonna do?
Public announcement, child. Today, is it VIO? They are going to start checking vehicles for if all your papers are complete. I just realized that I did not get SMS last year to come and change my particulars. I'm going today before
Also,
they catch me.
Another public announcement. I heard that Ikeja Disco is saying that
That's one.
Magodo, Bagada, Ojodu,
I heard
certain
that. I thought it
areas.
wasn't true.
Suddenly, I'm not claiming Magodo again. No, please, I'm inside K2 because I didn't see K2 in the list. My house is now K2. Please don't let me because
For 1 month, they're going to take
Insane.
power for 1 month. I don't know, maybe they're renovating or repairing.
but one whole month.
Jesus Christ of Nazareth, please, whatever you do, I beg, don't put my house there. My house, I am in K2.
Mariah,
Village of K2. I'm not in
Mariah,
Magodo.
certain areas in Uganda will be laughing that finally let's come. Let's
Hey, bro.
Let's take a break. Please, I live in K2, not Magodo. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the punch. PDP members have a right to seek alternative platforms, says Makarfi. They want the presidential ticket at all costs, says Sheriff. Picture here of United Nations Security Council meeting with representatives of the IDPs. Parents of 4 Lagos missing children identify arrested apprentice. Omatech founder Florence Seriki dies at 54. Federal government removes 10% equity contribution on mortgages below 5 million naira. Fayose begs Buhari for a phone conversation. The Zani Rivers rerun bribes. INEC to suspend 227 officials this week. Leaders allowing xenophobic attacks, not fit to lead, says Obasanjo. Phone tapping, Trump asks Congress to probe Obama. Jonathan rejected UK's offer to rescue Chibok girls, says report. Buhari calls Obasanjo Bello, tells governor all is well. And four policemen die in Lagos crash. Okay.
So the parents of 4 kids who were kidnapped a few weeks ago have stormed police station to identify Mary John, who kidnapped their children. I don't know where she's going to bring them back from, but I'm very happy about the report that she was caught.
Okay.
In fact, they actually trailed her with a child that she had, Shemilore, a child, the last child that she sold. And, you know, at the fourth, they got to the fourth buyer and recovered the child. So it's possible they get all the children.
All the children, okay.
Okay.
I want to quickly talk about Jonathan's rejecting the UK offer for help. Now, we all know that our former president didn't respond at the time, but now we're having more detail about the fact that he was offered help and intelligence, that the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, was offered help and intelligence concerning where the girls were.
Well, that was according to the newspaper, The Observer in the UK.
The Observer.
And they were actually quoting an insider who was a part of the operation, saying that when the girls were kidnapped, there was particular radius where the girls were. They could have actually helped to rescue the girls. Unfortunately, the president did not respond. And then the girls were segmented into small groups and taken to different portions. So,
but the president has said that wasn't true.
Nigeria being a sovereign nation, they had to get permission. And
of Nigeria.
Possibly, I'm feeling that maybe because he heard that they could find them, he wanted to trust what he had within his own army to recover them.
He's even denying that they didn't.
He's denying that it's that because this is a newspaper publication. So he's like, listen, get your facts right.
But I remember at the time that America, they gave us equipment, they gave us manpower, and at some point they left. And we were questioning at that time, why did they leave?
Okay, moving on to The Nation. INEC probe panel on 23 billion naira bribe. REC got 140 million naira cash. Banks get 24 hours for BTA, PTA requests. Yakeredolu to give account soon of what Mimiko left. All right, so who has the INEC story? Pretty much they're just probing here.
The INEC probe finally, according to them, they recovered the monies and only one REC was able to go with about 140 million. All the
Jesus Christ.
Past RECs were going with over 100 million. You can imagine. And the lowest amount was about 150,000.
This is 2015 elections,
yes,
Abby.
Yes.
But we knew, because we're hearing 2 billion to all the...
Money was around with that time.
A lot of money was
Moving
around.
on to Vanguard very quickly.
Prosecution.
Jonathan rejected UK offer to rescue Chibok girls. We talked about that. CBN orders banks to process retail forex demand within 24 hours. My emergence as governor, a miracle, says Akeredolu. Supreme Court upholds federal government decision voiding allocation of OPLs 321323 to the KNOC, that's a Korean company. Back soon to continue fixing Nigeria. I wish I read that story. Emefiele markets, dynamics, and politics. A rejoinder by Dele Shobowale.
No, the president was just calling a few people, and let me quickly link the story to Governor Fayose saying that, please call me. Don't be calling your own people. If you are really alive, you are hale and hearty, call me. Let me tell Nigerians that you're well. But the president was just calling, he called former President Obasanjo and Governor Bello, saying that he'll be back soon to continue where he left off.
And Governor Fayose also left his phone number. My number is 08032. Please just call this number. You can't miss it. Just because, and really, Nigerians really believe if Fayose says, I spoke to the president and he's hale and hearty.
True.
If Fayose comes out to say that, all of us, our mind will just be addressed.
There was someone else who was saying that the president should call via Skype. So I think it was Falano, and somebody was saying, you didn't say that since last month.
But yes, he should please call Fayose. It's good to hear from Fayose. Moving on to Daily Sun. Fuel subsidy fraud. Senate begins fresh 10 trillion naira probe. Picture here of Obasanjo doing the Thanksgiving service to mark Obasanjo's 80th birthday. Fayose to Buhari, speak with me to prove you're healthy. Talked about that. Supreme Court okays voiding of allocation of OPLS 321323. Omatech CEO Seriki is dead. IT industry mourns. OGFZA plans tariff cut for free zone investors. Closure of Abuja airport. We are ready to ensure security from Kaduna, says IGP. Ondo Assembly crisis deepens as Akeredolu's peace meeting collapses. Masob lifts Uwazirike's ban to Freedom House.
I'm going to talk about the Southern Kaduna crisis, but I wanted to say, in the soul of the Omatech CEO, who she died of cancer, rest in perfect peace. She was a good leader. But so the acting president, Oshimbajo Professor, went to talk to the leaders in Southern Kaduna. He spoke to the Muslim clerics, the Christian leaders, the what they call traditional fathers, and he was saying that the Southern Kaduna peace must remain, and that as much as he's talking to them one-on-one, he's going to bring everybody together. And the IGP is now promising that they will maintain peace in Southern Kaduna. I think that's exemplary leadership, you know, because we're just all shouting Southern Kaduna, Southern Kaduna. And this is someone who has gone there. He's not afraid to go there and talk to the people. What are the real issues? Let's stop sending police and army. What is causing the crisis? Let's nip it in the bud.
All right, then the fuel subsidy fraud. Senate actually is they're starting the probe from 2006. They're going to probe all the various from Obasanjo all the way to former President Jonathan's regime on this, because according to them, money wasn't being remitted from NNPC to the federal government account. So they're trying to see 10 trillion naira.
We've heard about probes.
Who have been there?
We've done a lot of probes. We've barely seen any prosecution of the investigation that come out of the probe, and there's nothing going on. So rather than waste resources on probe, let us focus on building the economy for the future. Let us prune the exclusive list. Let's do what we need to do. Well, let's EFCC do the probing and the investigation.
You're no more interested in...
No, I'm not. I want to see a plan for the future.
It's not like we're not interested. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I say it costs a lot of money too to probe.
Exactly. I remember Mr. Elumelu. He was a senator. He headed the power sector probe. Nothing came out of it, and they made a lot of noise. We were screaming when we heard the amount of money that was buried in the power sector that was stolen. What did they say? He was bribed. Although he has come out to deny it, that they framed him, but nothing came out of that.
Nothing.
No probe, thank you.
I remember that time when Desani was bringing all the papers. You see, there.
We've been here, Rayo. Under the last time, we were here. We saw all the information. We heard information. Nothing is done about it. The exclusive list, prune it, focus on the future. State policing. There are no policy issues that you can do than
budget padding.
Our final paper this morning is this day. Federal government to AI. Shiites are similar to Boko Haram terrorists. The Observer, how Jonathan rejected British offer to rescue abducted Chibok girls. Talked about that. Federal government creates central assets register to track MDA's assets. And we have a picture here, homage to the new king. The former vice president, Atiku Abubakar, pays homage to TIV Professor James Ayase after the coronation of tall TIV at the Boko Stadium in Benue State. Elumeluf hails Emefiele for restoring credibility to forex market. Investigators expose how $800 million was laundered in Etete, federal government's Malibu oil deal.
So federal government is saying to Amnesty International that Shiites are similar to Boko Haram, and that's the reason they're giving for that they cannot be handled the same way you handle the regular citizens. That's why they are not obeying court order concerning it. I think we should talk about this more, but we don't have time to do so.
All right, that's all we can take on
Obey the court first.
On front page review. When we return, what's hot over the weekend was sizzling. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. So over the weekend, what was hot is a popular reality show that everybody's watching. I try not to watch it, but everybody here is watching it. So we heard that there's an issue concerning consent, adult consent. Is it appropriate for a man to seek consent before knowing her partner, you know? So what is appropriate and what's not appropriate? According to the reports we read concerning this reality show, some girl has been sort of been very flirtatious,
showing the green,
you know,
light.
be flirtatious with leading a gentleman on for a while. And then she allegedly got drunk, and overnight the gentleman went to try to know her by violating her, sort of. And then there are issues the ring raised. Was he right? Was she the one that gave him the consent, either directly or indirectly? Was he? And
Is there anything like indirect consent?
People were now blaming the girl that she did, and she shouldn't, because the guy got evicted, I think.
Yes, he got disqualified.
He got disqualified because of that. So they're saying, was he wrong or was he right? So who wants to jump in here?
Okay, legally, when a man and a woman have a relationship, until you have a very, very, very definite and clear yes, she has not given you any consent. And I remember that we have precedents to show that even at the last stage of any kind of a relation, how do I say it
intercourse?
Safely? Intercourse between a man and a woman. Even though you have started, you have, once she says no, stop, I don't want to be touched, you have been denied consent. If you go ahead, it is proof.
Well, at that moment, Nima, is your word against hers, because nobody's there with you in that moment. So the thinking we have around this in our own climb here is, if you don't want anything, why would you enter the hotel room?
I agree.
Because a woman, you dress a certain way, you are invited into the hotel room, and what were you expecting to happen? To have a conversation? So in that kind of situation, what exactly were you expecting?
Mariah, I totally agree with you, but the reason we're legally saying until she says yes, and at any time she can decide to say no and you must stop, is the example you gave of someone who was saying that, Mariah, I will give you a job, come and meet me in a hotel room. Anyone would ask you, what were you doing in his hotel room? Exactly. But he lured you there with something else. So even if the girl is sleeping in your house, in your bed, she must agree. But now, the people shaming this lady are saying that she led the guy on. You are in a reality house, you had already showed him your breast, and he went to her the day before. That's on Friday night or Thursday. This happened on Friday, it was Saturday. No. He went to her on Friday and asked that, I want to cuddle. And she said she did not want to reject him. I think she was wrong there. She should just have outrightly rejected him. But she said she didn't want him to feel rejected. So she said, no problem, I'll hold on to your arms, but nothing more. She was now telling her other housemate yesterday that she didn't like the guy like that, but she didn't want him rejected. Now, when they all drank, they had a party on Sunday, they slept in the same bed. People are also condemning that. This guy has come to you before. Why would you sleep in the same bed with him, knowing his intentions? Anyway, he knew what he was doing, Mariah, because he looked around, made sure no one else was looking at them. He looked at the cameras that were visible to them and saw they weren't focused on them. He did not know there were cameras in the windows, and then covered the two of them with the bed sheet and touched her. That was, if I felt violated watching that. Imagine you are sleeping, you don't know what is happening to you.
But in that kind of situation, it's her word. If there were no cameras, it's her word against hers. How does a woman prove that I was indeed violated, that he did not take consent?
Now, I'll come from the angle of those that seem to be bashing the girl. I'm always all for defending a woman or defending a girl.
The victim.
The victim. But I believe Yoruba proverb says that what you will not eat, you
don't
smell it. You know, so what you wouldn't eat, you don't want to have relations in that private relations with that person. Why would you sleep on the same bed with the girl, with the guy? Why?
Well,
what are you looking for?
That's a good point, Tokwe.
What are you looking for?
Well, you can sleep on the same bed with the guy and say, I don't want anything.
No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
No, wait.
Yes, you can.
She was heavily intoxicated. To the point when, even when she was touched, But even in her subconscious, she turned away from the guy, which is where the guy knew what he was doing. He premeditated it. He wanted to do it. He had made intentions known that I like you. The girl said, no, I not do. Yeah, she said she wasn't doing before that time.
Yes.
Now you see she was intoxicated, and then you looked around,
okay.
and then you took advantage.
And you were
so
saying
the guy deserved being disqualified.
Okay.
Mariam, as a girl growing up, I was taught to take care of myself. And I know for a fact that I would not step into the same house intentionally with someone who had given me any clue as to his intentions towards me. Not to talk of lie on the same bed. And then you know the possible you know the possible outcome. You can foretell what might happen, and then you go on and you say, oh, I was violated.
Yeah, but out of respect for the woman, shouldn't he have at least asked
God
for
will
consent?
bless you,
Okay, so
Mariam.
yes, you've been giving me some green light, but out of respect for what? Because that's the problem we have in Nigeria. We don't respect.
Wait, now may I respond to her to say that yes, in real life you will not even step into the house, but they were already in the same house.
Okay.
The beds there were 3 beds from the beginning, meaning that they knew they were going to be sharing beds. Now, I agree with you that, no, I was going to agree with Mariah to say, he knew what he was doing. Even if she had been showing him green light, she was sleeping. He could have woken her up and whispered in her ears that, oh baby, oh, what's happening now? I'm feeling you, go.
Okay, let me take this call from Dayo. Dayo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
All right. I think.
Remember, it's a breakfast show, so choose your words carefully, Dayo. Go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I think I watched. There was one thing like that I watched, where Keme himself, that guy, was bathing T-balls. The name of the girl is actually T-balls. So he was actually bathing her. If you watch that thing, I knew that something of such is likely to happen.
Oh, he has bathed her before.
He was just pouring water now.
He was pouring water when John was 3 years old.
To the extent that the girl actually exposed her chest. And the girl too was moved beyond normal. You could see it. It was visible.
I agree.
So I don't. You see, the whole program itself. Sometimes you sit down, you ask yourself,
what's the lesson?
You question so many things. What exactly do you want to achieve? If truly you actually want to help people with 25 million naira, I think there is a better way to actually.
All right, thank you, Dayo. But I need to address what he just said concerning even see, and I need to come to you as a lawyer.
Yes.
I am in my shower. He bathed me. He does everything, and it looks like I like the guy, but I have not said yes. Isn't that enough for you not to approach me?
You know, I stated the legal position
legally
before I started, even though I do not agree. We as Africans have our ways. This legal way of definite no or yes, we didn't even develop that principle of law in Nigeria. Yes, because it is not peculiar to our society. And in our society, a girl knows where to go. My mother would say, don't let your 2 left leg carry you enter trouble. You know where to be. And whenever you are in the wrong place, you know how to carry yourself properly. If she was sleeping in the bed with other ladies, she would have been safer. She should have known better.
Oh, but you know what they are doing in their house.
So they must sleep together. They are brothers and sisters.
Olamide, are you there? Thanks for calling.
But you know why they are
The lady must have been touched, must have been romanced. She's aware of everything that was going on. So for you to go into an hotel room with a man, you want to claim that the man is just taking advantage of you. That is a lie. The lady's consent is involved.
Right.
Okay. I think this is the real issue we're discussing. That there should be a law. We should have legislative backing to the fact that a woman has the right to say no. Because even in marriage, there is a thing called rape. If I don't want to do, I can say no. And even if you have the right to my body, I have said no. Anything you do is considered rape. Period. So within that context, whatever happened on that bed, even if she had given green light times 10, she turned away.
Nothing more to say.
And she was under influence. We already know that when you're intoxicated, a lot of things happen.
That's even what I wanted to say.
She had that leeway, and it took advantage of her. A man should be a man. You should win the woman. You should win her trust.
That's all.
If you respect yourself, you should respect that woman.
Exactly. Just
so
it.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to say.
That's it. You're right.
She was under an influence.
There's nothing more to say.
Let me take Abayomi. Abayomi, are you there?
Yeah, Abayomi.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Go ahead, we can hear you on the show. Go ahead, welcome to the show.
Okay, yeah, first time caller.
Welcome
to the show.
Yeah, this is Abayomi.
Yes, go ahead, we can hear you, Abayomi.
Okay, yeah, what my contribution will be is, well, for you ladies, I believe you're being feminist, you know, because as a man, I don't see a reason why a lady would be in bed with a man, knowing fully well that he's got blood flowing through his veins. If it's like I'm definitely like you about to say.
They are taking us back.
Abayomi is taking us back.
Yeah.
Now, is he still there? The scene that they were describing, they had a task where Big Brother was pouring worms on them. So she's the one who is very finicky. She just fought someone for not flushing the toilet last week. She's very neat and finicky. So she had the guy come in, water her down, washing all the worms. Oh. So it was in that state that she removed her top and exposed her chest. So I agree that it is blood running through Kemen.
She didn't really give him that green light.
Exactly.
She was washing
worms off her body.
No matter the green light, if I did not expressly say yes,
Let's say
it's a no.
before we run up.
Okusaga said, you can't be sleeping and someone who is not even your husband creeps in to touch you is wrong. Please fight for women. David Dandy says, she never consented. He's not the first to sleep on the same bed with a fellow housemate. Omolaja says, I beg you on her game. She led him on and dropped him like a glass cup, all on the run to win the multi-million.
That's all we have to run. That's all on that segment. It was hot, so we had to talk about it. Everybody was talking about it online, so we thought to hear your views on it. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about another hot topic last week, the whistleblowing policy.
The new career.
Because our Minister of Information was telling us that it is really yielding results.
Yes,
so let us learn more about this whistleblowing. We have our prof in the building. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Yes, thanks for staying with us. Last year, the federal government of Nigeria adopted and placed incentives for whistleblowing as tools of fighting corruption in the country. As a result, the government has announced that the policy has begun to yield fruits. A report that has it that looted funds amounted to over $151 million. That's 8 billion naira. Had been recovered, about $25.4 million too. Now, joining us on the show is a lawyer and a social commentator, Chris Nwakobia. He'll enlighten us more on the whistleblowing policy in Nigeria. Thanks for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Long time, Oga. Okay, you can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag Your View TVC so we can read your tweets. Before we talk about whistleblowing, I have to ask you about this consent matter because you're a lawyer. In this kind of situation, and you're a man, what exactly, at what point is consent required?
Do you draw the line? Especially if the girl has been showing you her upper chest.
Yes.
No, I think I would align myself with Nina's position. The law here hasn't been that effectively developed. But as a man, I think that it is unwise for a woman to lead a man on. You know, when I was growing up, I was taught by my dad when he was trying to counsel us to be good boys that we should avoid very compromising positions because an erect penis has no conscience. You know, and
Can you use those words on TV, please?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, you can't use it.
But adult, we educate children. I think that you should. Well, that's subject for another day.
I wish I didn't ask the question.
That's
All right, let's move on to whistleblowing.
Whistleblowing.
Oh, yeah, all right.
The
So
new career.
whistleblowing, that's the latest thing now. Everybody's blowing. Right, there's a cartoon saying somebody going to meet the babalao, asking for help, and the they just go and blow this whistle. So, do you think it has yielded result? And what exactly is the whistleblowing? For those that don't know what it is about, tell us what the whistleblowing policy is, and if indeed you agree that it's yielding results.
Let me say this with a greater sense of respect and without sounding very patronizing of myself and a few colleagues. We began that campaign about 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
It operates in the U.S. it operates in other climes where government intends to check official corruption. You know, you give incentives to enhance and encourage people to come out to tell what they know about corruptible, and corruption-prone events and circumstances. And interestingly, when we were making that argument, myself, Bola Oba, and a few other people, we took up the media on it, and then we went, and interestingly and salutarily, the government has decided to look that way. I think it's fundamentally laudable for two reasons. Until now, people salute, hail, and tend to worship corruption, condone corruption. But now, if we must teach our children a new paradigm, if we must teach our children the way to go, there must be something that must break that jinx, that line of thought. And when you give incentives, so to say, to the people, if you report corruption, you get profit. What it does is, it makes a driver wake up and say, oh,
I know where my
I've been dealt terribly by this man. I know where he has been sending me to lodge and dump monies. And then if I report, first I'm serving the cause of justice, and then I'm getting rich. You know, so I think that everything and anything necessary, according to Lim Kuan Yew in Singapore, to kill corruption must be done and encouraged. So, and that is why I encourage it.
If you think that it is the incentive that is working, the Minister of Information told us about a whistleblower who refused his own part of the money. So regardless of that, you're giving me money, I don't want it, I just want, he said he doesn't want to be a part of corruption, and exposed banks where money had been laundered. About 2 years ago, we also had the Whistleblowers Act that was supposed to protect the whistleblower. There's a state where the whistleblower has been sacked. So how effective really is this law? Someone is saying, I don't want the money. Someone else is whistleblowing and getting sacked.
No, the first thing is, the second line of the argument is how to effectively protect the whistleblower. And that's what we must do here. I'll give you a practical, we're talking about 5%, 2 to 5%. In the US, you have as much as 10%, you know, in cases of official corruption. And the reason is because if you don't do that, people will look the other way, you know. And then don't forget that beyond the legal protection of the whistleblower, we live in a savage society where if you want a driver or a housemaid or a man next door to report his boss, there must be something strong enough to make him say, okay, if he tries to kill me, I'll run somewhere. I have enough money to run somewhere. You know, that's exactly part of what inspired it. You know, when it started just after the mob era in the U.S. between 1956 and 1970, when if you report a mobster, the gangsters, the Al Capones of this world, they will kill you. So the system had to make provisions for the people who report. And then if you report in Chicago, the next day you're off to Alaska because you have enough money to relocate. If you report in New York, the next day you're in Philadelphia. You know, that's exactly what it is meant to do. Encourage people, because if we don't kill corruption, I'm quoting Mr. President at the Chatham House, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill this country. And it's obvious, you know, look at the kind of resources people, you know, my late dad said that Nigerians suffer a lethargy of thinking, and almost always we keep our brains in the refrigerator and we don't want to think deep enough. But I think that the time has come for us to call a spade by its name. We must fight corruption, and this whistleblowers normative is the most profound at this point. People must begin to, you see people steal monies they don't need in 10 lifetimes. If they were to come here, people keep monies in safes, and they're bold enough to tell us they got them as gifts. You know, they insult our sensibilities, and some applaud them. You know, I saw something online yesterday. A man who attempted to steal batteries from an electric pole was left naked in Asaba. And that's the same state, my home state, where a self-confessed ex-convict came back, and he was celebrated to a party. And now they have a rally for March 11th to welcome him. That's a tragedy of our thinking. So I think that the time has come for us to begin to call a spade by its name.
So that brings me back to the whistleblower protection we're talking about. What suggestions do you think we could put forward that we could have a standard system where they would be really, really protected? My fear being, like you stated now, the mafia system where they do abroad. Nigeria is not a large country like America, where you can move somebody from here to Jos. And the issue here is also about money. The person blowing whistle also know other people know him, and we don't have a sure system. I am afraid, for instance, I know that if I have a relative who knows something about somebody, I'll be cautioning him to be careful. So that fear is still there, and to always deter people. How do we what suggestions do you have to make sure that our senator, our house lawmakers start to do something about the act and perfecting protection?
Well, first, there is a code of silence, a code of secrecy that the police and the security agencies are meant to abide by. You don't disclose the whistleblower, and that must be followed to the letter. And then, interestingly, sometimes when I hear about this fear of lies, do you know what corruption has cost us? It's cost us more human barbecues than an individual blowing a whistle. It has cost us deaths everywhere across the space, because young men are not employed, because they don't have food, they don't have shelter. Recruiting them into villainy and banditry is very easy. And that's exactly why we have this level of human barbecues, murders, ritualism, and everything everywhere. So if we must deal with it, we must first of all encourage our people to report. And then interestingly, there's an incentive now. If you report, you get money in return. And that's not corruption. That's not benefiting from corruption, because essentially it is the state. So I think it is nice for viewers to understand this angle. It is the state that owns the money. Someone stole from the state. You report, and then the money is gotten back by the state. The owner of the money says, take this money for helping me get back with the money. It is not corruption. So that person who is playing, who is more papal than the Pope, must understand that. And then for those who have been victims, like someone who reported a professor and got sacked, there must be an agency, Lima. Like you have the National Human Rights Commission, there should be a whistleblower protection agency that must regulate what happens. If you're victimized because someone suspects that you whistleblew on him, you have protection. You can run to them and say, oh, I didn't. Because in actual fact, you're permitted before the public to deny it.
Yeah,
that's part of the protection. They're supposed to hide your identity. But because what essentially we need in this country is to nip this malaise called corruption by every means possible and necessary.
I totally agree with the idea that whistleblowing has been a good move so far. I think, but from the policy itself, it seemed to be more geared towards bringing back the money. So we're not focused on prosecuting the people, because it seems the policy doesn't cover investigation, so we just get the money back and then we keep it. But like the case of Dasuk, is it Dasuk?
No.
The former
Yakubu,
the case of Yakubu, who mentioned that it was given to him as gifts. Give me back my money. Suing the government to court when there was no investigation and there's no case to prove how he got the money. If he says it's a gift, then who are you to say it is not a gift?
Let me say first, Tokwe, that I totally align with the first leg of your position, which is the fact that we must prosecute, we must investigate, we must handle it effectively. And Liman, you're a lawyer. There's something that Malami isn't doing right about this whole thing about corruption. And let me say this. When you return money, it's an admission of guilt. And I don't know what you're waiting for. That's exactly why I say, you're fighting corruption, someone brings back money he stole. He has admitted guilt. Take him to court and sentence him.
Exactly. So he won't want to return next time.
Others who want to return. That's why we have the whistleblower. You don't beg those who have looted our collective patrimony to return them.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. I think we have Regal from Surulere on the line. Thanks for calling. Are you there?
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. What I wanted to ask about this whistleblowing. In the case, I just don't want to understand, is whistleblowing has to do with only when somebody looted money? Or is it also with something like has to do with when you say someone, a state wants somebody, as the person is wanted, and you happen to say, oh, I know where this person is secretly staying. Can you be able to give the information of the person? Is he also a whistleblowing?
Okay.
Yes, the law has always had that, you can report a suspect, but of course, when it does not have to do with financial matters, you don't get that incentive. But it is encouraged. You've been seeing that adverts on TVC and several places. The SSS is telling you to report suspicious people and characters around the environment so that we can enhance national security. But I think that essentially what is important here is that we must understand the reason we have to support this normative, because if we don't, our children will ask us
But
questions.
he made a very valid point. If there's no incentive for him to rat out, oh, Mr. Johnson is hiding in this place, there's no incentive for him. He's not going to tell. He's just going to turn the blind eye to the fact that Mr. Johnson, who is most wanted.
The incentive is that Mr. Johnson, if he doesn't report Mr. Johnson, the next day Mr. Johnson might turn against him. Like the vampire thing in Imo State. If you don't report them.
Now we are recovering monies. We've recovered dollars from Yakubu. We've recovered pounds and all that. We are in a recession, and we are fighting corruption with a system that is harboring some corrupt officials. How are we sure that we will not go back to the same system of these monies that we've recovered being looted again?
Okay, before you answer that question, let me take Marvelous. Marvelous, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Mayan. Good morning to your guest.
Yes.
When you told me, I feel that whistleblowing in Nigeria, people will not really support it because we saw the case of Jibril, we saw the case of Wike, how it went down, how there was nothing done about it. The whistleblowing now, we don't feel the genuinity in it. We don't see the sincerity in it. Look at the case of the SGF, aka Mr. Grass Cutter. Look how much he used to cut grass, and nobody's talking about it. Look at Attai's mansion, 2 mansions in Dubai. Nobody's talking about it. Any case that concerns it, nobody wants to talk about it. Sylvester's estate in South Africa, nobody's talking about it. Governor of Kogi, nobody cares. But when it comes to PDP, people like Fayose, people like Fanika Ode, they will go to court. So I feel that they should show the sincerity in it. It should go around. Then you cannot come. Even to me, I said that Ibori is a hero.
All right, thank you very much,
Excuse
Marvelous.
me, Marvelous, drop the fire in your body. You must not deal with the one burning in your body.
Interestingly, I think that's a very easy position to address. And unfortunately, Jumoke, you won't like that take on it. The truth is that every process has its teething problems. Okay. When you're beginning, you will have, you can't attempt the mishmash immediately. You start from somewhere. It took over 200 years for Americans to give blacks and women the right to vote. Yes. They grew through progressive criticism and fine-tuning and reworking of the system. What is happening today, because he talked about the PDP, Yakubu, with the greatest sense of respect, is more of an APC person. When he was removed, it was actually the APC that criticized it. So I think that when we subject just about everything that happens in government to partisan debates and shoot from partisan embers, we do this country fundamental disservice. It's got to be about country first. It's got to be about our nation. And if people are refunding monies, if it is working to this extent, it is salutary. Can we make it better? Fundamentally, yes.
Okay, go back to the question.
Should we make it better? Yes, we should. But the easiest way to do so is to urge and nudge government to effectively
address the reluting. Can they relate this money that's
if there's corruption still in the system?
Oh, yes, of course. Okay. It would be pretentious to say that there's no corruption in the system.
Right, let me take another Marvelous. Marvelouses are getting through today. Thanks for calling.
Marvelous Monday.
Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Marvelous first-time caller.
Yes,
welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. I actually have an issue with all the provisions set up. It's like they are mostly textbooks and they don't actually work in systems like ours. And I will not say it's really annoying, but let me not use that. This whistleblowing of a thing, let me draw reference from, let's say, 2 Feet, who tried doing such, maybe on a more public scale, and yet he all of a sudden just backed down and stepped down. Coming down even to our Nigerian varsities, where we have grassroots problems and grassroots issues, where students are victimized and can't say anything. And the issue of fear is still like the major problem or the major antagonist to this. So I feel it's more textbook than actually more applicable in the system.
Applicable.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Marvelous. Yes.
He mentioned how Yakubu is more of APC because when the Jonathan government wanted to sack him, it was APC.
No, he sympathizes with the APC. He worked with the APC. You know, after he lost, but it was
APC who shouted at the time that why are you removing this person?
That
was it that they did not know he was stealing at the time?
Oh no, you don't. Nobody's a clairvoyant at this point. Until this whistleblower came out, you didn't know. You know, so there's no way. There's no way to tell the there's no way to tell the expression of the heart or the from the face. You know, what is important here is the fact that, and this is what I implore Nigerians to understand, that criticism, fundamental, it's nice. Constructive criticism is profound. But cynicism and sarcasm won't take us anywhere.
So one quick question,
you know,
please.
we must understand that the time has come for us to put country first. When you continue to shoot from partisan embers, it won't do our country any good. Our children are watching us. They're watching the debates we make. If we make debates that tend to defend corruption because you're sympathetic of the PDP, it does no good. If you make debates that tend to defend corruption because you sympathize with the APC, it does our country no good. The time has come for us to collectively and cumulatively and concertedly fight this malaise called corruption and make our country better.
Abubakar says, I don't think it's a must for my identity to be disclosed. After all, I've only tried to do the country a big favor. Leia says, why all this unnecessary noise? Where were they? Why were they there in the first place? Is it not to promote immorality? Or talking about our hot topic. So your year says, returning money is admission of guilt, says Chris Nwakobia. Silas says, please help me ask your guests, after whistleblowing and the money is recovered, what will happen to the offender? Okay, still talking about the hot topic.
I want to just quickly say that, okay, so when we recover the money, it seems like we don't have access to the money. What's the policy around recovered loot? Because it's still the spending case on all of them, on almost all the money recovered. What do they do?
It's paid to the federation account. You have to go through appropriation to spend the monies. That's for that. And then for the man who talked about, I'm the same way we advocated for the whistleblowing incentive. I am an advocate of, if you return loot, that's admission of guilt. Yes. And what the courts must do is to sentence you. We must have monuments of reference and monuments of deterrence. That's the way to fight corruption.
That would dissuade others from returning money. If you're going to prosecute those who returned.
No, so we're encouraging the whistleblower, not the returnees.
So, okay, we're talking to the house helps, the drivers, the PAs, the everybody. If you know your guy is stealing money, you're going to get 2.5 to 5% of the money. So just go and report.
Help make our country better.
Make our country better. So if you are watching, please, everybody around you, go and blow the whistle.
That's the jazz.
And because I'm going to give you the information, just give 1% for me.
1% of 100 billion.
That's all we can take on the show today. Thanks for joining us. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.